Pity is there, and fire-winged sacrifice, and flashes of sympathy and tenderness cast heaven lights from the heart's secluded shrine. A work is done in the deep silences, a glory and wonder of spiritual sense, a laughter in beauty's everlasting space, transforming world experience into joy. Inhabit the mystery of the untouched gulfs, lulled by time's beats, eternity sleeps in us. What a magnificent line to end that section. Oh, so we go back and we see before these angels of ecstasy and self-giving pass by, and lodged in that inner sanctuary of dream, these makers of the image of deity live. So what also lives there? Pity is there, and fire-winged sacrifice, and flashes of sympathy and tenderness cast heaven lights from the heart's secluded shrine. We see that this area is so beautiful because there is sympathy, and there is tenderness, and there is pity, and there are the heaven lights that are being cast from the heart's secluded shrine. Therefore, a work is done in the deep silences, a glory and wonder of spiritual sense, a laughter in beauty's everlasting space, transforming world experience into joy. Inhabit the mystery of the untouched gulfs, lulled by time's beats, eternity sleeps in us. Well, we know what the gulfs are. The gulfs are wide separations, chasms, abysses. And so all of these forces that we're reading about inhabit this mystery of the untouched gulfs. And notice he has a semicolon after the word gulfs. And then he concludes with lulled. Lulled means soothed or quieted, even put to sleep at times. Lulled by time's beats, eternity sleeps in us. So soothed or quieted by time's beats, eternity sleeps in us. We'll move on a little bit. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask them. In the sealed, yes, go ahead.
Sorry. What a line, lulled by time's beats. Eternity.
It's one of the great lines for me. Always has been. It's so special.
What a line.
Yeah. In the sealed hermetic heart, the happy core, this is very interesting, unmoved behind this outer shape of death, the eternal entity prepares within its matter of divine felicity, its reign of heavenly phenomenon. Sri Aurobindo is giving us here a little preview of what is going to happen when the supramental is in its full force. So we see that the hermetic, something that's hermetic, is usually sealed or isolated. And it has to do with occult sciences, especially alchemy. And it is a magical heart. So in the sealed hermetic heart, the happy core, it is a happy core, of course, unmoved behind this outer shape of death, what is happening when something is a happy core and in this heart that is sealed, unmoved behind this outer shape of death, the eternal entity prepares within. Now, Mother says that an entity, question? I'm hearing a voice.
I muted the person. Person was
Okay. Okay. So the eternal entity, Mother says that an entity is a personality or an individuality. But when the E is capitalized, it's the divine being. The eternal entity prepares within its matter of divine felicity, its reign of heavenly phenomena. Now he's going to tell us about ourselves a little bit, because we do have skeptic minds that are ignorant. Even in our skeptic mind of ignorance, a foresight comes of some immense release. Our will lifts towards it, slow and shaping hands. Well, skeptic is doubting. Huh? Skeptic mind is a doubting mind. The mind of ignorance always doubts. It tries to find out by the usual means of the five senses or by its somewhat educated brilliance, but it doesn't find the answers. But sometimes there comes a foresight, a perception of events before they have occurred. A foresight comes of some immense release, and then our will lifts towards it these slow and shaping hands of ourselves. Each part in us desires its absolute. Oh, I know that that is true, but how difficult it is to realize. Each part in us, that means even the body, even the vital, higher and lower, even the mind, each part in us desires its absolute. But that is only seen by the avatar, the man of total vision. Our thoughts covet the everlasting light. Our strength derives from an omnipotent force. And what else? What else? And since from a veiled God joy the worlds were made, and since eternal beauty asks for form, oh, even here, where all is made of being's dust, our hearts are captured by ensnaring shapes. Our very senses blindly seek for bliss. So he's really talking to us here very clearly. And we'll go into beauty for a little bit, because I feel it's quite important that we cover this. So each part in us desires its absolute. Yes, that is true, essentially true, but we have a long way to go. Our thoughts covet the everlasting light. When you covet something, you wish for it eagerly, but sometimes you even desire it wrongly. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods, I believe is one of the commandments. That's close anyway. Our thoughts covet the everlasting light. Our strength, however, here, our strength derives from an omnipotent force. And of course, Sri Aurobindo in the hymns to the mystic fire, as Vladimir well knows, force is nothing but the power of being in motion. We could talk about force all evening. There's so much from Sri Aurobindo. And since from a veiled God joy, the worlds were made. So these worlds were not made ignorantly. There was no great burst, as we're now learning from the Webb telescope. And since from a veiled God joy, hyphenates the word God joy, because God joy made the worlds. And since eternal beauty asks for form. Now, this is so important because, well, let's go through a few things. In the future poetry, Sri Aurobindo says, beauty is the special divine manifestation in the physical, as truth is in the mind, love in the heart, power in the vital. And again, in the future poetry, he says, beauty is the way in which the physical expresses the divine. But the principle and law of beauty is something inward and spiritual and expresses itself through the form. And one more from the future poetry, I could go on, but beauty is Ananda taking form. But form need not be a physical shape. One speaks of a beautiful thought, a beautiful act, a beautiful soul. What we speak of as beauty is Ananda in manifestation. Beyond manifestation, beauty loses itself in Ananda. Or you may say beauty and Ananda become indistinguishably one. And I'm going to close this with Mother. It's so beautiful. In the physical world, of all things, it is beauty that expresses best the divine. The physical world is the world of form, and the perfection of form is beauty. Beauty interprets, expresses, manifests the eternal. Its role is to put all manifested nature in contact with the eternal.
Your sound disappeared a bit. You moved something. Narad?
No, didn't move, but I'll get closer.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Okay.
Okay. I go back to Mother. In the physical world, of all things, it is beauty that expresses best the divine. The physical world is the world of form, and the perfection of form is beauty. Beauty interprets, expresses, manifests the eternal. Its role is to put all manifested nature in contact with the eternal through the perfection of form, through harmony and a sense of the ideal which uplifts and leads towards something higher. Well, we close out there with beauty. I did want to share something with you that, because I met Tara and Chitra yesterday, and they told me that their father asked Mother, tell me what is the truth? I hear so many definitions of the truth. And Mother said very simply, where there is harmony, there is truth. Even here, where all is made of being's dust, our hearts are captured by ensnaring shapes Our very senses blindly seek for bliss. So our hearts can be captured, of course, by ensnaring shapes. Sometimes they're dishonest. Sometimes they're underhanded. But here, these ensnaring shapes are not that way. And our very senses blindly seek for bliss. I'll continue on a little more because this is a passage that we should try to memorize. Our error crucifies reality to force its birth and divine body here, compelling, incarnate in a human form and breathing in limbs that one can touch and clasp, its knowledge to rescue an ancient ignorance. Oh, and there's so much on ignorance, but I can't go through all this. And I have to go to the next page now. So page 171. Okay. It's Savior light, the inconscient universe. We have to go back and remember always that we are in the Godheads of the little life. Canto 5 of the book of the Traveler of the Worlds. And we see that in these worlds, we are also involved because there is a transference from these worlds into our human manifestation. I know it seems difficult, but Sri Aurobindo speaks of it many times in Savitri, and we can almost say these are the extraterrestrial beings, higher beings that come and converse with us. So, we have time. Well, let's see. Maybe a couple more. And when that greater self comes sea light down, and again, sea light down, or to fill this image of our transience, all shall be captured by delight, transformed in waves of undreamed ecstasy shall roll our mind and life and sense and laugh in a light other than this hard, limited human day. The body's tissues thrill, apotheosized, its cells sustain bright metamorphosis. Okay, just two words that we should look at. Apotheosized, glorified, exalted, immortalized, deified. Metamorphosis, of course, is the complete change in appearance, character, or a succession of those changes as the caterpillar into the butterfly. So, can someone do the reading today? Who hasn't read for a while? No volunteers.
Sandra wants to read, I guess. Yes, Sandra? No?
Sure.
Yes, Sandra, did you get the lexicon?
I went on your site and I'm working on it. You have a lot of publications. And
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Okay, good.
Pity is there.
Pity is there.
Pity is there, and fire-winged sacrifice, and flashes of sympathy, tenderness, cast heaven lights from the heart's secluded shrine. A work is done in the deep silences, of glory and wonder of spiritual sense. A laughter in beauty's everlasting space, transforming world experience into joy. inhabit the mystery of the untouched gulf. Lulled by time's beats, eternity sleeps in us. In the sealed hermetic heart, the happy core, unmoved behind this outer shape of death, the eternal entity prepares within its matter of divine felicity, its reign of heavenly phenomenon. A foresight comes of some immense release. Our will lifts towards its slow and shaping ends. Each part in us desires its absolute. Our thoughts covet the everlasting light. Our strength derives from an omnipotent force. And since from a veiled God joy the worlds were made, and since eternal beauty asks for form, even here where all is made of being's dust, our hearts are captured by ensnaring shapes. Our very senses blindly seek for bliss. Our error crucifies reality to force its birth and divine body here, compelling, incarnate in a human form, and breathing in limbs that one can touch and clasp. Its knowledge to rescue an ancient ignorance, its savior light, the inconscient universe. And when the greater self comes sea-like down to fill this image of our transience, all shall be captured by the light, transformed. In waves of undreamed ecstasy shall roll our mind and life and sense and laugh in a light other than this hard, limited human day. The body's tissues thrill apotheosized. Its cells sustain bright metamorphosis.
Thank you so much. May I make a comment? Just a small comment. I noticed that, I guess you're from, where are you from?
Boston.
Boston, yeah. That's where I get matter, M-A-D-D-E-R, instead of matter. And I get beauty instead of beauty. So, Bostonian, very well done.
20 years out, but yes, it's still there.
Yeah, exactly. With all of us.
I think it's typical American. They say 20 instead of 20.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And for and.
Yes.
And very important. We shouldn't miss any words in Savitri because they're all mantric. And we don't want to spoil the mantra of any line. Very important.
I have a question, Narad.
Yes.
Beauty and beatitude. He coined his word beatitude, which is very beautiful, actually. Mm-hmm. The difference between the two, I feel the difference, but could you define the difference?
It's a good question. Beatitude has always seemed to me to be something of, what shall I say, heavenly bliss.
Mm.
Yeah. And beauty is something more expressive of form or of feeling. So that would be the difference, I would say.
Thank you. I feel the same way, but never could define. I thought beatitude is a principle of beauty of some kind, you know. which makes beauty possible, something.
Well, thank you all, and thank you for your wishes for my birthday, all of you. I'm very grateful. It's been an extraordinary birthday. Thank you. And today I visited with Vasanti and Jayanti, who gave me lots of birthday presents. And I must say, to be with them, I'll just share one thing with you since we have a few moments. Eleanor Montgomery, who was a good friend of mine, and who brought Dmitri von Mohrenschildt to the ashram, would always sit in the playground right next to Mother at her feet. And then one day she said to Mother, I have to go back to America. And Mother says, but Eleanor, there will be many new things happening in the playground. And Eleanor said, but Mother, I'm going back. And I'm leaving the ashram. And Mother's answer to her was, the whole world is my ashram. Namaste.
Namaste.